Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're tackling a Leetcode problem that sounds a little intimidating at first. Longest subarray with maximum bitwise AND. But don't worry, we're going to break it down and find a really simple, elegant solution together. Let's get started. Okay, here's the official problem. We're given an array of numbers. Our job is to find a non-empty, continuous subarray where the bitwise, and of all its numbers, is as big as it can possibly be. Once we know that maximum and value, we then need to find the length of the longest subarray that produces it. So before we even think about subarrays, let's focus on the first part of the problem, maximum possible bitwise AND. Let's think about the properties of the AND operator. When you AND two numbers together, the result can never be bigger than either of the original numbers. In fact, it's always less than or equal to the smaller of the two. This leads to a really powerful insight. If we take a bunch of numbers from our array and AND them all together, that final result can't possibly be bigger than the single biggest number in the original array. This means the highest possible value we can ever hope to get from our bitwise AND is just the maximum value from the input array itself. Okay, so we know our target and value is the max value in the array. How do we actually achieve it? Well, think about it. If our subarray contains even one number that's smaller than the max value, the total AND result will immediately become smaller than the max value. The only way to preserve that max value is if every single number in our subarray is the max value itself. And just like that, this problem transforms. It's not a scary bitwise manipulation puzzle anymore. It's actually a much simpler task. All we have to do is find the biggest number in the array, and then find the longest consecutive streak of that number. That's the whole problem. Let's walk through the first example to see this in action. The input is 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. First step, what's the biggest number? It's 3. Great. Now, we just scan the array, looking for the longest consecutive block of 3s. We find one right in the middle, a 3, followed by another 3. That streak has a length of 2. And that's our final answer. So our final algorithm is pretty clean. First, we'll do a quick pass to find the maximum value in the entire array. Then, we'll go through the array one more time. We'll use a counter for the current streak of max values. If we see our max value, we increment the counter. If we see any other number, the streak is broken, so we reset the counter to 0. All the while, we'll keep another variable to remember the longest streak we've seen so far. Alright, here is the complete Python code that implements our logic. It's clean and directly follows the steps we just discussed. Let's quickly break down the key parts. The very first thing we do is find our target value. We call the max function on the entire nums list and store the result in a variable called maxval. This is the number we'll be looking for. Next, we set up our counters. ANDs will hold our final answer, and current streak will track the streak we're in right now. Then we loop. For each number, we check if it's our max value. If it is, we increment the current streak. If it's not, the streak is broken, and we have to reset the current streak back to 0. After every single number, we update our answer to be the larger of whatever it was before, and our current streak. This ensures we never lose track of the longest run. So how efficient is this? For time complexity, we make one pass to find the max, and a second pass to find the streak. That's linear time, or big O of n, where n is the number of items in the list. For space, we only use a handful of variables to store the max value and our counters, regardless of how big the input array is. That's constant space, or big O of 1. It's very efficient. So to wrap things up, the biggest lesson here is to always try and simplify the problem's goal. By understanding a key property of the bitwise AND operator, we completely reframed the question. We took something that sounded complex and turned it into a basic and much easier problem of finding the longest streak of a number. I hope this breakdown was clear and helpful. If you learned something, please hit that like button, subscribe for more Leetcode explanations, and feel free to leave any questions in the comments. And of course, the Boba Fund is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next one.